would you do if you knew you had less than 8 minutes to live?
I'd make those seconds count.
Source Code follows Army pilot Colter Stevens as he's forced to participate in a secret military time travel experiment.
Source Code enables you to cross over into another man's identity in the last 8 minutes of his life.
Think, Captain, remember back. Who bombed the train?
I don't know who bombed the train.
Then try again.
Wait, no,
Coulter returns to the train again and again until he is able to identify the bomber and prevent future attacks.
I want to go back in. I'm gonna save her.
You can't. Doesn't work that way.
Source Code explores the possibilities of time travel and the depth of human relationships.
The movie that we're here to talk about today is Source Code. We've all just seen it, so let's talk about the story. Chuck?
This sort of reminds me of the time that my buddy Sam moved in with his girlfriend.
Did Sam time travel?
No, it was just we were all like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, it was like, what are you thinking? Like, what's going through your head? And that's kind of what Source Code is.
Source Code is a story about this pilot who is played by Jake Gyllenhaal. His name is Colter Stevens.
Oh, what a manly name.
That is the manliest name ever constructed.
Yeah.
It's a stupid
I feel like
captain.
I'm growing
Colter
like
Stevens
chest
took
hair
that.
just listening to that.
Exactly. He's actually in a simulator that, through the process of this source code, which is some mumbo jumbo quantum physics, something or another,
any goddamn
allows
sense.
him to go back and relive the last 8 minutes on this train before it blows up.
The premise is actually a fantastic premise, but we are obviously divided about how we feel the execution went. So let's actually talk about the script. What went wrong?
Like, the script's just bad. It
Yeah.
starts off bad.
I think the logic behind the science fiction, the logic in the world that has been created on this screen undoes the believability of the story, right? One of the problems when each time we return to the present moment, there's no sense of urgency, there's no sense of time progression. We get no sense that there really is a ticking time bomb, which is problematic.
You have this potential for a great, stripped down, streamlined, economical thriller, and you go blithely off in all directions to...
Well, I think for me, beyond that piece, what really didn't work about the film and the script was the romance. It's really hard to establish a tragic romance in 8 minutes, but yet somehow within that, Jake Gyllenhaal found that she was the most intelligent, charismatic woman he's ever met on that train.
That just goes to show how you men are always thinking with the little head. But aside from that,
that's what I don't get.
Me.
Is like, why is like he's got to go back a million times? Why didn't he just fuck her once?
He's only got 8
And get
minutes.
over it.
But for some guys, that's all it takes, right? But
Yeah, but I think you get good enough to time it so you could explode. Should have been like some degree of like, you know, us seeing him deal with this monotony of having to go through one of 1,000 people on a train, where it's really like there's 25 people in his cart that he's going. And the rest of the
I think that was the big conceit, was that they chose this man that was on the car that the bomber was on.
No, they say that in the movie.
Yeah.
The reason why he fit with that person on the train is because the body, the appearance.
But that's what I'm saying. But the fact that there was a synchronicity between that and this major plot point.
You are writing the script for that.
No, but let's actually talk about the cast. We had some really great indie stars in this film.
I mean, Jake was fine. Jake is doing what Jake does.
So, I mean, dude's just a movie star. You know, he's like the vanilla version of Mark Wahlberg. If he does, you know, the easy role that he's good in stays inside his parameters.
I thought Mark Wahlberg was the vanilla version of Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. I like Jake. I think what didn't work about Jake, though, is that he had no chemistry with Michelle Monaghan.
I think she did the best with what she could, given the quality of the screen.
But I felt like he was overacting to compensate for her lack of charisma on screen. So he's always like, "You're the most amazing woman I've ever met," and all she's talked about is my coffee.
The director just kind of looked at Jake Gyllenhaal and be like, oh, you can just do whatever you want. Just be yourself, and you can work your charm into this movie, and everything will be fine.
I have to disagree with that. I mean, let's talk specifically about Duncan Jones. This is a sophomore film. I was looking so much forward to this film because, I mean, I loved his film Moon, and I want him to succeed as a science fiction director.
It's a good movie, but...
and some of the performances work, and some of them are just horrible.
But I wonder if the distinction is an art house director versus someone who's asked to take on that larger project. And I think the proof of this is that I think the first 20 minutes, the way the camera glides through that, you know, cabin, it's eerie, it's, you know, it's sort of foreboding, but the rest of the film just kind of gets away, and maybe it's a sense of scale.
I don't know if you give him 10 million, you give him 50 million, you give him 100. If he can't look at a script and see how things don't track, that's a problem.
It's a bad choice for a second project, then? Is that what you're saying?
I'm questioning if he's really that good a director. I mean,
think great
caliber.
directors have their bad films.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
that's not where but
Steven
I think
Spielberg,
the point
1941.
What she's made, but he'd already made Jaws
That's
at that
right.
point. You know,
That's
what I'm
right.
saying is that, like, Why movies suck today is because you have most of the directors are really good photographers, and it takes
Well, they
more
come
than
out of music
cinematography.
video or commercial.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, so the movie looks good, but the story sucks.
If they had set up this character as someone who knows that he's got nothing to lose anyway, somewhere during the course of the film, should discover, wait a minute, I already know what my fate is. Here's this hot chick.
Let's fuck while the world burns.
Let's do it, let's fuck while the world burns. Or we needed a little more intrigue and we needed a little more what's at stake for Colton Stevens. We needed a little more for that.
I'm prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt. It feels like a movie that's been taken away from him. So you're this director who comes in and you don't get carte blanche because you're kind of an art house director. You kind of don't have your credibility yet. So you get a certain amount of freedom and then someone else comes in. We need a romantic subplot. All right, let's put that in.
Well, look, I'll give the guy credit where credit's due, and then the movie was mercifully short. It was cut well. And,
Thanks for bringing it all back.
Well, I mean, it is kind of embarrassing. It's a $40 million movie, and, your graphics look like something out of Johnny Mnemonic. You know what I mean? It's just...
I mean, come on.
No, I'm not even joking around. I mean, look at the movie poster. It looks like a fucking 1988 Robert Ludlum cover. You know what I mean? It's disgusting.
And I think it's actually time for us to vote.
Oh. All right.
Dun, 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 dun. So if everyone could take their tickets. All right, the film is Source Code, and my peoples, do we want to see it, stream it, or skip it?
I will go first.
Okay.
With pleasure.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear it. All right, go ahead, I'm listening.
Watch Moon instead, skip this one.
Oh.
That was pretty harsh. I would say, I don't know, stream the first 20 minutes, because it's kind of ominous and eerie.
So do you think that could be like an eighth of a ticket?
No. Skip it.
Chuck.
Well, I guess I'm the last one, and I will say something. I understand your love for Duncan Jones, and I love Moon, but we're talking about this movie, Source Code, and not Moon.
Jesus.
Thank you.
That was...
I practiced.
But I am faced with the empty plate, and that would be 0 tickets, which is a skip it for Source Code.
Chin chin.
I don't want to chin chin to that.